Hello everybody, I'm Julian.
I'm Gabriel, but yeah.
And yeah, I hope the sun is shining where you are here, being the first sunny spring day. So we can't basically wait for the weekend to get out. And yeah, today we're having another live interview with a recording engineer based in China. His name is Wayne Reily, and yeah, he's a recording engineer based in China. I would say we invite him to the live as soon as he's joined, because I think he can explain his journey the best. Because he became kind of a big deal recording the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games, for example, for the live broadcasting, and recording lots of classical music in China and in the top recording halls and not recording halls.
Yeah, I think today we will have the opportunity to talk to someone who is experiencing the other side of audio, because a lot of times we get too constrained in like rock, pop, electronic music. And now we're going to talk to this guy who's like, he's on the other side of the world, and he's doing the other side of the whole industry. And we can't wait to figure out how it's going there.
And I'm especially interested since classical music has such a long history of music production. Yes, basically. And how it is in modern times.
Yeah. If anyone, by the way, if anyone has any questions to a recording engineer specialized in classical music, we might have some space for questions. We don't know how we're going to be doing time-wise, but if you're dying to know something, and if you really want to ask Wayne something, just let us know.
Oh yeah, by the way, in case you haven't seen on our social channels yet, we created a Spotify playlist with all the tracks made with our gear. So if you want to get featured in our playlist, you can comment on the post, write us a message, or simply get in touch with us, and we'll include your music in the playlist.
Yeah, the playlist name is Made with Tegeler. It's in the Tegeler Audio Manufacture Spotify account. There's a lot of really cool tunes. All of them were made with some device from us, or many of them were made with a lot of devices from us. And yeah, if you are one of the producers that created music using our gear, please, help us help you to, raise awareness to your mixes.
And of course, you can also find the interviews that we're recording in this live Instagram thing on Spotify afterwards.
That's right. Yeah, I think Giovanni uploaded not too long ago the latest interview we had, which was with David Gnozzi from Mixbus TV. And the interview we had with Lauren Passarelli from Berkeley is also there. And they were both really cool interviews. If you want to check some content, if you want to listen to our beautiful voices while you're working out or cycling or going on a run or something, please do so. We will be more than happy to have you listen to us. Giovanni is doing
I'll
stuff
be back in a second.
Cell phone. Yeah, Julian's going to abandon me.
I'm looking. Where is it?
Okay.
I'm listening back to it.
Oh, that was the employee of the month.
Yeah, the paper shredder started.
Yeah. And what else? Have we made an announcement about our news, device-wise?
Not today.
Not today. Okay.
Also, guys, we will be live from the Ding Dong flagship store.
That's right, guys. We are super proud. We have this partnership with Ding Dong Audio from China. They're an amazing company. They're building what might be the most beautiful audio store we have ever seen. It's going to be. I think it's going to open really soon. It's in Beijing. And Ding Dong has been nothing but really cool to us, and Wayne is actually going to be conducting this. We are going to be conducting this interview with Wayne from Ding Dong. He's actually in Beijing in the Ding Dong store, and we are really excited about it. There's one extra reason why this interview is going to be so cool. Yeah. And yeah, there is. If you guys want to know more about Wayne Reily, there is actually an interview, a documentary about Wayne Reily. You can Google it. Wayne Reily, the sound guy in China. Is that the name?
Yeah,
I think it's the sound guy in China. It's actually really interesting. You're gonna get the chance to see a little bit of how he's handling his projects so far. Where has it come from, and how has he reached the point where he is now? Really nice watch. I would recommend it. Yeah.
Wayne, it's live.
Do we have Wayne?
Yes, Wayne. Where are you?
Wayne is waiting.
Wayne,
Yes.
classical.
I don't wanna wait for your love.
Okay, we'll be just.
Oh, we have
yeah,
Wayne.
yeah.
We have Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi guys, hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Yeah.
Hope you're doing well.
I'm fine, thanks. Thank you for having me. I'm so sorry that I'm so late. Thank you guys.
I wanted.
And sorry to everyone for keeping you waiting.
It's okay.
I wonder how's the weather, the situation.
Oh, it's really snowing. It's really
Ah.
snowing outside. So the roads are covered in snow and a little bit icy as well.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine. I was.
It's one of those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for snow angels, you know.
Exactly.
Not so good for driving though, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very slow.
Yeah. Wayne, do you maybe want to start telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Wayne. I'm a recording engineer. I do classical music recording in Beijing, and I moved here in 2007.
Okay.
And I was originally doing sound design for movies, but then I decided to move into classical music because my background was mainly in that.
Interesting. No?
All right.
Do you want to start with? We have a couple of prepared questions here. Do you want to start with the first one?
Yeah. How did you end up working with classical music? Did it run in your family, for example? Were your parents, I don't know, also musicians doing classical stuff, or was it some other, let's say, trigger that made you interested in classical music?
Well, that's a great question. Not really. Me and my brother, we played in orchestras and bands in school back in the UK where we were born. I played violin from the age of, I think it was about 5 or 7 till 14, and at that age I switched to drums. And then my brother, he played clarinet all the way through high school. But we were not really from a traditional music family. I think we were the only two who played instruments in that family. But we always my parents always played music at home, different types of music, pop music, and some pop music and some R&B, reggae, that kind of thing.
Nice. First of all, I think it's really cool. I think that both you and your brother are playing instruments, and then you had like a partner to because I try to play instruments myself, and I know how hard sometimes it is to learn an instrument by yourself. And even though you guys are, of course, you played the violin and he played the clarinet, but it must have been really cool having your brother be a part of this journey. But just a follow-up question on the one before. It's interesting that you have already this background with classical music with the violin and you played in orchestras. But the follow-up question would be, what influenced your decision to relocate to China? Why China?
That's interesting. I had a dream to work at a post-production company in Beijing. And all the way through university, I was studying music technology at university. And I specialized in sound design in my final few years. at university, and all through my final few years, I was hounding this one company, I was spamming this one company, and begging them for me to be able to come to China and work for them. And then after several emails, they finally got back to me and said, okay, when you graduate, you can come and work for us. So that's what happened there. But I had a plan. I wanted to work for that post-production company, and also I wanted to work in the Olympic Games as well, because I saw that the Olympic Games would be held in 2008. So that's why I came over in 2007. I thought that that would give me enough time to make some contacts and be able to finally move into that event.
Okay. Did you speak Chinese, Mandarin before you went to China, or was it something that you were learning in the process? Because I can imagine the differences in languages, because the language systems are so different, how they work and how the grammar works. Could be a potential difficulty. Oop, that was my hands.
I could speak a little bit of Chinese before I came. I actually spent the last few years at university just living with Chinese people, and I had a load of language partners that I just found on campus. And also I took an extra evening class, like one day a week for a year as well, with a native Chinese teacher. That was really helpful as well. She was really amazing. But most of my Chinese studies was actually just self-study. I went to the library in my university and the Chinese section was only about that big. It was Chinese section, and I just practiced every day. I was doing about 3 hours a day towards the end. I used to study 1 hour in the morning on the way to campus, and then 1 hour at lunchtime, and then 1 hour before bed. I do that, and sometimes I leave the CDs or the MP3 classes on during the night.
Wait, let me just write it down, because I'm gonna try to do the same thing with my German studies. Let me just write. Okay. And Wayne, can you please describe? This is a tricky question. It's a little hard question. I would never like to answer this question, but we love to hear the answer to this question. Can you describe the most important aspects of your work in 3 short sentences?
I would say patience. Patience with the project and patience with the client. That's my first one. Second would be professionalism, trying to be professional, as professional as possible, and understanding what is possible with each project that you take on and what is not possible. And then also, last one would be it's a great question. I would probably say passion. You've got to be passionate about the work and not just enjoy it, but want to always improve improve on your skills constantly, because of the passion that will allow you to usually want to study more and learn more and improve. I think that those would be the 3.
Nice.
Great answer.
Do you wanna? Yeah.
If you try to record a whole orchestra, I can imagine that can be quite the challenge. I think it depends on so many variables, like the room, everything basically. So can you explain or summarize what the biggest challenges you have are for when you are recording a full orchestra?
Okay, I'd say the biggest challenge that me and most people recording orchestras live, which is mainly what I focus on doing, or recording classical music live, I'd say the biggest challenge is being allowed to position the microphones in the best possible place for the sound to be captured in the most ideal and best possible way. A lot of the times when you do those kinds of events or do those kinds of recordings, somebody will ask you to put the mics in a position that looks better for the video if they're doing that, or for the audience if there's an audience watching. I think that would probably be the biggest challenge, because as we know, if you put the microphones in a place that looks nice, maybe the sound won't be so loud. I'd say that's probably the biggest thing doing this type of recording.
Okay. I would assume also the sheer amount of channels itself is also not that easy to handle.
It depends on the music director and what they will allow. Some will allow several microphones on the stage. Some will just say, "Okay, Wayne, please can you keep it to a minimum? We don't want cables everywhere, mic stands everywhere."
Okay.
Which is fun, and that suits me. I do take more of a minimalist approach to recording ensembles anyway. I do prefer to keep the channel count really low and keep it quite natural, and just use the balance that the conductor has given. Don't want to tweak too much afterwards. I'd say that most of the work that I do is done before I press record, and there's only a tiny little bit afterwards that I will do.
I think what you just said there is really interesting, because nowadays it's so easy to do any of the parts of the recording and the mixing process and the mastering process at all parts, and it's also very easy. Any computer can process like 140 channels or something. So you hear a lot of people doing more is more, and I think it's really interesting that you're recording an orchestra, which might be the biggest musical setup of all, right? And you are actually going the other way. You're going, no, less sometimes is more, and if I don't need 200 channels, I won't use 200 channels. I think that's really interesting. And that brings me to my next question. So basically, all of us, we would like to know, and I think this was one of the questions from the survey on Facebook, Giovanni. Everybody wants to know what your audio setup is in general. Of course, if you could tell us a little bit about in which part of your process you use our creme. By the way, everyone watching, Wayne Reily is one of the lucky ones. He has the black creme with Michael's signature on it. We still have get emails from people wanting to have those. And could you tell us a little bit about your audio setup, please, Wayne?
Okay. At the moment, I have two-channel. Well, I have an 8-channel audio interface, but I just use the 2 channels on that, and that goes out to outboard mixer. I will use a tiny bit of EQ on the outboard mixer. The outboard mixer goes into a bus compressor, a 500 series bus compressor. After that, the 500 series bus compressor goes into 2 tape emulators left and right. And then after that, that goes into, another compressor. And then I have an EQ, and then after that, I go into the creme. The creme is actually the last part of the chain that I will send the signal through before it goes back into the computer, or if I'm live to the recorder, or to whoever needs to
Okay, okay. Can I ask him about the compressor stuff?
Of course.
Yeah. A lot of times one might think that when recording classical music, the dynamics are really important, and you really don't want to have it as squished as most music is nowadays. So the question that I would like to know is like, where does a compressor fit in a classical recording environment?
I would say you can use a compressor anywhere really within classical music, but it's just how you use it. It's going to be less obvious and much more transparent compared to other genres. I'd say that when I say compression, I'm literally talking 2 dB maximum. That's heavy compression for me. 2 dBs. So when I send the stuff that I'm recording or working on through the creme, the needle is hardly even moving. That's what I call compression. And yeah, I think it's just not as obvious. I don't think it's as obvious compared to other genres that are more popular. That's what I'd say about that. But the nice thing about the creme is that you just turn it on, and even with everything in pretty much zero, just I don't know what to call it, the weight, the heft, the juice is just right there. As soon as you turn on that, turn on the power, you flip on the switch on there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
it gets nice and creamy.
It's that good that I actually listen to YouTube through the creme. Like if I'm going through acoustic, just the way I've got it set up. I've got it in a flight case, so I can it's easy for me to plug it into the mixer on my desk at home. And if I want to take it out, then it's easy to it's all in there. It's very easy to do that. But when I'm at home, if I'm listening to acoustic performances, which I really like to do, not just classical, but I like to listen to a lot of acoustic performances, I like live performances. And sometimes I just can't help it. Sometimes all the time. And you can ask anyone in my home, okay, what's Wayne doing? Everything is going through.
Okay, we can put it on the product description. We're gonna put it on the product description of the creme. Wayne Reily said YouTube sounds great on the creme. Thank you.
It was the first chat that we had actually. He said, man, I cannot watch YouTube without passing by the
Can you? I think when you started you said you went to China in 2007, if I'm correct. Then and
sorry, I couldn't hear you clearly.
Okay, sorry. When you were like from your beginning, when you went to China and until now, I think that you that your production technique, your recording technique evolved like from then to then. Can you say how it evolved? I heard in the documentary, for example, that you started with one microphone, and I guess now it's a bit more, but not only from the technique, not only from the equipment perspective, of course. I guess also techniques have a bit changed, have been a bit refined or whatever.
When I first came to China, I didn't have much. I think I just had. I believe it was a stereo Tascam recorder, which in those days it was about this big. It wasn't like small.
Yeah.
You can get that. And I came with a Tascam stereo recorder, and I think I had a stereo microphone, so I had one stereo microphone. I was doing recordings with that initially. just grown the setup. And initially, actually, I was doing some sessions with a computer as well. I had a computer and a very basic audio interface, but then on one session I had a heavy crash, and I was trying to fix this issue for at least half an hour, and that was a real turning point in the way I approached it. After that, I just switched straight to hard disk recorders for all my live stuff, and I will usually have a hard disk recorder as well. And if I'm doing, on the rare occasion that I get called to do sessions, I'll have a hard disk recorder running as well, just so that I can protect myself against any kind of crashing or anything like that. I really, after that experience on that session of wasting half an hour of time and losing material, I just decided that I didn't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
I switched over to hard disk recording. I haven't, okay, touch wood, I haven't had a hard disk yet. So, yeah, exactly. I haven't had hard disk recorder failure yet. Usually I will take at least 3. Yeah, I'll usually, on a big session, on a seriously important session, I'll take 3. I've got like a Tascam 8-channel recorder, and my Mixpre, I have an 8-channel Mixpre as well, and then as the third and final backup, I have a Zoom H4n, which is, it never gets used, but it's just the backup. Just, when you're doing this kind of work, you can't go to the client and say, oh, sorry, I missed it.
Can you play again?
I'll go back and say, sorry guys, can we just start the show again? It's really funny.
Yeah. This is a little bit a follow-up question as well. So building an analog setup is all about creating a signature sound and constantly developing it further, right? So our question would be, what changes in tone or workflow did you look for, and why did you decide to go for the creme then?
Actually, it was. The creme was actually, I think that was only my third piece of hardware outboard gear that I had. Yeah, it was one of the early ones that I actually bought. And I bought it because I was watching David on Mixbox TV, and I always watch his videos, and he gave an amazing review on that, and I just thought, well, let me try it, let me check it out. I think he does a lot of good reviews, and let's get straight to the point. There's no fluff or rubbish with his reviews, so I thought, okay, if someone at that level is recommending it, then let me just check it out. And I checked it out. It was amazing. It was a game changer, as they say. It was a game changer. And it's just it's transparent enough for the client to not hear it. I can hear it, but maybe the client will not necessarily hear that. Of course, if I give them an A/B, yes, they will be able to hear it. But often the client will not usually ask for that. They just want the final thing done. They want it to sound finished, and the creme really does that very easily as well. You don't need to spend half an hour tweaking it.
Yeah, that's what we try to build, devices that are easy to use, where you can dial in. That's also what I hear a lot about the Raumzeitmaschine, that it's you set it up, you dial it in, and it's running. It's not so fidgety.
Yeah. There's no extra knobs just for the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you have this feeling with the crane.
Should we move on from the technical questions? You wanna go with a non-technical question now?
Yeah, I can. The effects of the still ongoing COVID-19 pandemic are they are I think worldwide a hard hit for society, and yeah, we are wondering how it affected your work and how you dealt with it, because I think as a producer, for example, or as a mixing or mastering engineer, it's easy to go to your studio and lock yourself in your studio and continue working. But when you're recording live events and these live events are gone, basically you're out of work. So how was this time? And yeah.
Yeah, that the whole thing with the pandemic really killed my audio side of things. I had no work. Well, I still have almost no work because of that. A lot of the events were cancelled. I think a few are being allowed now, but not the large scale ones. As far as I know. But yeah, the pandemic really killed that. So I just spent a lot of the time just studying more and practicing more, actually retouching old stuff, running old mixes or old sessions through the new analog chain, playing with different setups like that. Watching, do I go straight into the two bus, or do I put the tape saturator first? All of these kind of things. I just spent the time just practicing. Yeah, I don't think the country as a whole has fully recovered yet. I wouldn't say things are back to normal yet in terms of the events. I know actually there's a local orchestra that I work with and have worked with for some time. They've had loads of shows cancelled, and even their rehearsals have been cancelled as well. So yeah, it's tough, but that's why I teach English. Because that never goes into fashion. I'd say that the majority of my money that's been teaching English has gone into audio equipment, gear, it's always been a steady and consistent form of income. Actually, it's funny because when I first moved here, I was working in post-production studio, and so many people asked me, when can you teach English? When, please teach us some English. And no one was really asking me to record. And I was like, no, for years I was like, no, I'm teaching English, no, I'm not doing it, no. Then it got to a point where, clients will come into me and say, Wayne, please, you can pay me money for this. And my wife will say, Wayne, buddy, you can still do the music. Music isn't the only money, still pay me money. Maybe you should teach some.
Okay. Yeah. We're having, I think we're having a little bit of a, oh, yeah, you're back. Wayne, one more question that this question was actually not written, but we always ask this question on our live interviews, and I think it's a question that everybody loves. Julian was the one who created this question, just so you know. Yeah, it was it. The thing is, because we have had the pleasure of speaking, now we're speaking to you, we have spoken to David Gnozzi not so long ago, that was great, the guy from Mixbus TV, and Lauren, this guitar teacher, this guitar professor in the US, she was amazing as well. And we asked them, we also would like to ask you, when we asked you to describe the three important aspects of your work in 3 sentences, you said patience, you said professionalism, and you said passion. Which, amazingly, it's all PPP, right? But
It's 3P, actually.
Wayne's 3 Ps. But speaking about passion, I think it's like all of us who are audio enthusiasts, we are all doing this because of a passion for music and for sound, and it's always amazing to see someone who has achieved such heights as you have, and like you're in China, you're working with your passion, you have made your passion your work, basically. What advice would you give to young people, or maybe not so young people, who also want to make their passion their work?
That's a great question. I'd say ask yourself whether you want to just do that, just follow that passion to support yourself, or ask yourself whether you want to support yourself doing something else and then continue to do your passion on the side. It's not easy for many creative people to make that choice, but I would say that when you do your passion when you solely do your passion as a form of income, it's not the same as doing it just for fun in your free time. When you have some demanding clients or some unforeseen mishaps that happen from project to project, it can really hurt your love for whatever you do. So I would say to anyone wanting to do their passion and support themselves doing it, I would strongly recommend that you find something on the side that you can do that can support you, and use that money to for your daily life, and then do your passion, grow your passion on the side. I would say that's the best way, because then you're not going starving and relying on your passion. When you're doing that, it kind of changes your attitude towards your passion, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally, it makes sense. Because for example, if you have to rely on working, or if you have to rely on making money from your passion to survive and to eat and to pay your rent, you might have to take, for example, jobs that you wouldn't have to take if you would just do it for yourself, and you don't have to think about, oh, can I pay my rent at the end of the month? I think
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can.
I have one extra thing actually that I forgot to mention in that last answer. I think a lot of the time when we're just starting out doing recording, mixing, mastering, we do end up taking on projects that we maybe shouldn't really take on just because we're trying to pay the bills. And sometimes it's actually in your best interest to say no to certain types of projects. And if you don't have that option because you're relying on your passion to pay the bills, then that could really, with all the great intentions in the world, that could really leave you in a really negative place. So I strongly recommend that think carefully. To anyone that's thinking about earning money from their passion, think carefully about the next project that you get. You can say no, you can refuse the project. It's not, it doesn't reflect necessarily badly on your character, but not every project has to be accepted. And especially these days, where it's a race to the bottom in terms of price, sometimes you cannot satisfy everybody.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
That was actually pretty good advice.
Yeah.
Actually. Nice. You're doing the next one.
Okay. We're. I think these are the last couple of questions.
Yeah.
So we're soon through.
Yeah.
The next one is again a bit of a, not technical but more equipment focused question. For example, if you could have our team or some other manufacturers, for example, have design your dream equipment, like your one gear that you would say, oh, if this would exist, this would be perfect. What would it be? Yeah, it's tricky.
One gear to rule them all.
It's like when you go in that toy shop with your kid.
Goodness, that's a great question. It would probably be some kind of stereo channel strip with Box is a bonus if you can squeeze it in. That's it.
Okay.
With the option of dual analog outputs and dual digital outputs.
Okay.
I'd say that. But with the option to daisy chain as well.
To daisy chain. Wow.
That would be.
Okay,
That would be nice.
Giovanni, note that down. Note that down.
I'm waiting down.
I'm not asking about that. Oh, and I want it for like $50.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Everyone's always complaining about the price.
Yeah.
$50. If you can do it for $50 and 30-day money back guarantee, then yeah.
okay.
It will be the dream.
You might be dreaming a little too dreamlike, but yeah, okay. But yeah, I like where you're going. Yeah. Okay, we have last but not least, we have a very important question. What are you working on right now? What is cooking up? What can everyone expect from Wayne's World? Oh, Wayne's World.
Wow. I'm actually looking at going to teach some music technology courses in a high school in another city. Actually, I'm trying to put something together for it's like a boarding school in the south of China. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. And I plan to try to do more recordings in the south of the country rather than just be based between Beijing and Shanghai. I'd really like to focus more on doing stuff in Hong Kong and Shenzhen, just the south part of China. That's what I'm going to be doing. But in the next few months, I will be starting the music technology program at the school. That's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, I'd like to just get students there to a really high level, but without having to drill them so hard. I just want to give them lots of different practical experience and lots of different hands-on experience so that they can just learn through that way rather than have to hit the books too much. I know that, a lot of people just want to get their hands on the gear and start playing and figure it out for themselves. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be designing music content for the school and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
Making a positive difference sounds pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll see. The next generation of engineers are terrible. Then it's my fault.
I think you're being a little. I think you're being too humble. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're basically through the questions. Giovanni, can you check if there are any questions from the chat or something? Yeah, if for anybody watching, if you have questions, please write them in the.
This is
chat.
the moment, guys.
Actually, I have a question that we asked also in the group. Jump back to the Olympic Games. I was a kid at that moment. I was a swimmer. Woke up like 3 in the morning for see the swimming race in Beijing. And for an athlete, the Olympic Games, it's the best that you can do in your life.
Yeah.
But I guess for everyone, have the opportunity to work on such huge, things. It's something like crazy, amazing. How was working for you, Rain, like in an environment with all the ace of the world on that point, like embody different things?
Could you hear him, Wayne?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah. He was asking. He said in 2008 when the Beijing Olympics were happening. Giovanni was a swimmer, and he was like so impressed with the Olympics, and it was such a big deal. The best athletes in the world. And you actually have worked in the 2018 Beijing Games, and his question is, how was it like being such the top of the top event in the world?
Oh, for me, that's a great question. It was my dream to work in the Olympic Games, and that was my second major project, and I was working for, I was doing live broadcast for a country that I won't mention. And the thing was that when I got the job, I made it clear that I couldn't speak this language. And I was doing live sound for this team, you know, where they, usually what will happen is, if you're based in, okay, let me start again. What happened on that Olympic Games was there would be several different countries based in a hotel, in a large hotel, and they would be given a section of the hotel where you can set up your own studio. So after the athletes would do their events, they would just travel a little way across town and go to their designated studio and have like a live interview. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I didn't speak the language that I was assigned. I was assigned to a team where I didn't speak the language, and I asked the producer, "Hey, is this a problem?" And the producer said, "No, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Just do the show. You can handle it." And I actually got fired after 48 hours of working. I think it was 48 hours of working on the video. Usually you'll spend like about a week setting up, so you do all the tech tests and everything like that. But when they actually went live, everyone was under the pressure. Everyone was speaking in that language, and no one produced me. There was no one to say, "Okay, go," or play, or hey, there was no one to produce. So I actually got fired on that position. However, to answer the question, it was amazing to work on the Olympic Games. On an event like that, there's no expense spared. If you need it, you can get it. If you need like 10 super expensive microphones, you can get it. If you need the best mixer, you can get it.
Sounds cool.
I didn't know that at the time, but in hindsight now, yeah, I could see that. There's no room for error, and I can attest to that. After 48 hours, they were like, "Okay, let's get rid of this time. Let's get someone that can actually do a better job." So that was a harsh lesson to learn about meeting standards, meeting expectations, and knowing when to say no to a job, which comes back to what I said before. Sometimes saying yes, you might be excited about the position, you might be excited about the role, but are you a good fit for that role? And unfortunately for me, I was not. I didn't speak that language. I should have just said, "Nah, that's not good. I need to be able to understand what the talent is talking about, what the host is talking about, not just, wing it and do it by ear." Unfortunately, I was too green and too keen to understand that. That was a harsh lesson to learn. But yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, being around the athletes and seeing all the tech and the way different countries do their setups, and yeah, it was great. But the downside is that I didn't see any of that Olympics because I was too busy in the studio doing the job.
Yeah.
So I missed a large proportion of that. I only caught the Paralympics after few events in person. That was nice. But the Olympic Games, that was one of my dreams. But getting fired, that kind of killed it. At least I got to do the setup myself.
There you go.
I got to see some stuff, and yeah, it was okay. But you live and you learn. That was, goodness me, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Okay.
If I
answers the question.
Yeah, if I may say, I think everybody who's working in live, for example, I did some live events not a few years back. I won't get back in when the event's starting again, and I think everybody there has such an experience. Like and I think these are the events that you learn the most from. Like when things go sideways, you always go with double the experience out of it than if everything goes well.
Yeah. Do we have any? Do you have questions, Giovanni?
Not at all.
Not right now.
No, not right now.
Okay.
Someone I want to know. I think we said almost everything.
Okay.
Wayne, from our side, honestly, we cannot thank you enough. We were really looking forward to talk to you. You're such an interesting guy, such a cool story, such a cool job. I think it's awesome how humble you are.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's awesome how humble. And it was a real pleasure for us. We can only hope it was good for you as well. It's also a pleasure to see the Ding Dong Beijing flag store. We are actually really excited about it. Mr. Dong, he sent us some pictures a while ago, and it all looked amazing. And we were like, is that even real? But now that you're there, we believe it's real.
We'll come to Beijing at some point.
We would love to go to Beijing to check it out. Of course, you're also welcome to come visit our studios here in Berlin if you're ever around. From my side, Wayne, real pleasure. We're honored to have you, really.
Please send regards to your family. I hope they are well. And it's been a pleasure talking to you and hearing your story.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you so
Thanks.
Have a good one then. We'll keep in touch. And if you need anything from Tegeler in the future.
If you have any questions, that I wanted to say, if you should have any questions right now or also in the future,
we're here for you.
Course, just let us know.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
If you have any questions, you can, of course, also let us know right now. Or
Sure, I will do. Yeah, definitely, I'll be in touch for sure.
Cool. Wayne, thank you very much one more time. Have a good one. It was a pleasure, and we hope to see you again soon.
All right.
Okay, me too. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
See you then.
Ciao, man. Thank you.
Giovanni!
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
Very good.
Great, thanks.
Ciao.